responsibility on these companies by inducing them to contribute towards the welfare of the society. In such places, some companies may engage in some welfare packages for the societies. These are the responsibilities that they have been placed, that have been placed on them by the government of such economy. The disadvantages of mixed economies are: one, since welfare of society is important in a mixed economy, it leads to lower than optimum use of the resources, because governments mobilize the resources towards the production of goods and services which are beneficial to the society as a whole, rather than producing those goods and services which in economic terms are more beneficial to an economy. Therefore, that is a disadvantage of mixed economy. Two, under mixed economy, private enterprises have to face a lot of difficulty because of various government loopholes like favoritism and bureaucratic nature, which is prevalent in mixed economy. Therefore, this is another disadvantage of mixed economy, because government sometimes may be favoring some parts rather than the other. Now let's consider some questions under this economic system. The first question says, the economic system that rely on markets to solve the economic problems are called dash. A, capitalism. B, socialism. C, mixed economy. D, traditional economy. 2. The allocation of scarce resources in a planned economy is done by dash. A, producers. B, government. C, consumers. D, none of the above. Number 3. An economy where resources are allocated by a combination of markets and planning is called dash. A, planned economy. B, free market economy. C, mixed economy. D, traditional economy. Number 4. An economic system in which most means of production are owned and controlled by the state is known as dash. A, socialist economy. B, mixed economy. C, capitalist economy. D, traditional economy. And number 5. The decision on what to produce is a problem in dash. A, all economic systems. B, a mixed economy alone. C, a planned economy alone. And D, a market economy alone. Now let's try to answer the questions one after the other. The first question that says the economic system that relies on market to solve the economic problem are called A, which is capitalism, capitalist economy, with this option A to be the correct answer. The second one that says the allocation of scarce resources in a planned economy is done by dash. It's done by government under planned economy. And the third one, an economy where resources are allocated by a combination of market and planning, is referred to as mixed economy, where both market and planning and government are in charge of allocation of resources, which makes option C to be the correct answer. And the fourth question that says an economic system in which most means of production are owned and controlled by the state is known as socialist economy, which is the first, maybe option A, the socialist economy. And the last one, decision on what to produce, is a problem in all economy, which is option A. So all economy, whether planned, market, or mixed, they are all battling with the problem of what to produce. Theory of consumer behavior. Our analysis of demand permits us to determine the underlying factors affecting the level of consumer demand of a given commodity. An increase in the price of a commodity, we expect consumers to react by decreasing the quantity they want to buy. That is to show us the relationship between the price and demand. That is a negative or inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded. That anytime there is high price of commodity, the demand is usually low, and vice versa, which justify the law of demand that say the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. And our discussion of elasticity of demand further develops our understanding of demand by showing to us the extent of how consumers react to adjustments in price. That is, when the price increase, what is the extent of the adjustment of consumer to that increase in price and vice versa. Therefore, in this chapter, in this topic, we further explain the behavior of demand by analyzing the consumer's behavior. The theory of consumer behavior describes how consumers buy different goods and services at a particular price. Furthermore, consumer behavior also explains how a consumer allocates its income in relation to the purchase of different commodities and how price affects his or her decision. Now, under the consumer behavior, one of the major factors that determines what consumer purchase at a particular price is the level of satisfaction such consumer derives from the consumption of such goods, from the use of such commodity, or from the services being rendered. Now we talk of the utility, concept of utility. When we talk of utility, utility is defined as the satisfaction that a consumer derives from consuming a commodity or services at any particular time. It refers to the amount of satisfaction a person derives from the consumption of a commodity or services at a given time. Any commodity that possesses utility is useful to the consumer. That is, any commodity that possesses utility is what the consumer always wants to get. And we have different types of utility. One, we have form utility, what we call form utility. Form utility refers to the change in the form or structure of a commodity during its manufacturing process in order to increase its level of utility. For example, a change in the form of a raw cotton to a clothing material is an example of form utility. Ideally, cotton in its raw form does not give full satisfaction until it is changed to a clothing material. That is when the full satisfaction of such product, of such commodity, which is cotton, will be known and well derived. Two, we have place utility. Place utility involves the changing of location of commodity from one geographical area where it has little or no utility to another area where its level of utility is somehow high. For example, cattle is mainly reared in the northern part of Nigeria where it has little or no utility, but later being transported to the southern part where its level of utility is high. That is an example of place utility. And the third one, we have what we call time utility. Time utility refers to the satisfaction the consumer will derive from the consumption of a particular commodity at a given time. All goods produced do not give satisfaction at the same time. Some goods have to be stored and released later in order to create higher utility on them, especially when their prices increase. Some may not even deal with the price, but deal with the use of such goods. For example, during Harmattan, some goods have more utility than when there is no Harmattan. In that case, we call it time utility. Now, let's go to the concept of total utility and marginal utility. When we talk of total utility refers to the total satisfaction obtained from the consumption of all possible units of a commodity. It measures the total satisfaction obtained from consumption of all the units of a particular goods. For example, if a student bought ice cream and the first ice cream such a student bought give a satisfaction of 20 utils, give a satisfaction of something like 20 in quantity, and the second one gives the satisfaction of 16. The total utility of the two ice cream that such as students consume at that point in time, one after the other, is the addition of the two. The first gives the satisfaction of 20 and the second gives the satisfaction of 16. The addition of the two will become 36. Therefore, in that case, 36 becomes the total utility of the ice cream that such students consume. And if peradventure is not satisfied with the two, he bought another one, which is the third ice cream. That third one will generate something like 10 satisfaction. And the total utility of the three will be the addition of the three, and it will continue like that. Another example that you can cite is when someone is thirsty and he's just coming from work or wherever. Immediately he enters, such a person can take a cup of water and derive some level of satisfaction. Possibly he's not satisfied with the first cup, take the second cup, take the third cup, as much as such a person can take until his thirst will be satisfied. Then the accumulation, the addition of all this satisfaction he derives is what we call total utility. Then we have marginal utility. Marginal utility is the additional utility derived from the consumption of one more unit of a given commodity. It is the additional satisfaction derived from consumption